Hi and welcome back. It's still 120 outside, but we do have some herbs that we need to collect and do something with. Some of them is going to be frozen for later, meals. I'm going to also collect some of the flowering herbs like the chamomile and the rose that I have to do some butters. And we're going to go ahead and can those. So let's get started. With all this heat, these are not looking all that great. They will bounce back. With the onions, you've seen me harvest these before. You don't want to go all the way down to the ground. You want to go ahead and cut about 2 to 3 inches above the white part, so that way they keep coming back. Once we're done with the haircut for the onions, let's go ahead and move on to the other herbs. Okay, since this chamomile is about done, we're going to go ahead and cut it fairly low. We'll use the flowers as tea, and we can actually make a tincture out of the stems, and it will have that calming effect, say if you have insomnia and need to get to sleep at night. Now hopefully this will go back up. Now you're going to see a whole bunch of my plants look like they're dying. They're not. It's just really, really hot. Okay, and we also have some lemon balm that is flowered. We're going to go ahead and take those, and then we're going to make some lemon balm butter for cookies. Okay, now I have been asked where I get my fig leaves. See that monstrosity right there? We're going to grab a few to make pickles. For today, this leaf right here. Will do just nicely. Okay, grab whatever is ready or over ready in the garden. This one's blooming. I did plant loofah. I don't know if it's going to survive over here, but it was the only place I had an arch this year. So we'll cross our fingers. Looks like that's the only bean that was ready. It's just way too hot for these to produce. That's why we're doing the herbs, because those are overdone and they need to get out. Okay, and I also have some roses. These are miniature pink roses. Now I'm also going to go ahead and harvest. for teas. No matter how much you water, the garden's going to look like this whenever it's over 100 degrees here. As you notice, I've only been outside maybe 5 minutes and I'm already drenched and dripping. So let's get inside and clean all this stuff off. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the onions. You're going to find dead leaves in there. You're going to try to pull all of them all out, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut up most of this. We're going to cut up about half of this and put it in the freezer after we have gone ahead and washed it off and dried it off. The rest of it I'm going to dry off for onion powder, just like I did with the garlic. But I do want to go ahead and save a few strands, because we're going to add this to one of our butter concoctions. I purchased this off of Temu and I actually like it. It will sit here and hold this open while I'm cutting, and I can go ahead and put it in here at the same time. I think I paid, I don't know, 60 cents for it. And this way, whenever I take this out of the freezer, I can grab some and just add it to whatever dish I'm using. Or add it to any dish that I'm making. Okay, this is the chamomile. There's a lot of dead stuff here. So we're going to go ahead and try to rinse this out as best as we can. We're going to take the flowers and make them into tea, and then dry the stems for tinctures. Now, chamomile is wonderful for helping relax you and reduce anxiety. Lemon balm does the same, so I'm going to do the tinctures with that as well. And then we're going to go ahead and make the butters to make cookies. You want to ever so lightly clean these. They will fall apart. And if you notice, the more dried petals are falling off, and you want to keep the good ones on there as best as you can. Now these you want to very gently clean. Here comes the lemon balm. Let me go ahead and put some fresh water in here. This smells so good. Try to get all of it in there, and then we're gonna let this soak for about 15 minutes. Because the flowers are so small, we want to make sure that all the bugs are out. And then we'll just rinse again. And then we'll go ahead and start making some butter. Alright, so after this is soaked for a little bit, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this out and dry it off a little bit. Because whenever we start making the butter, it's going to, the water's going to intermix with the oils in the butter. Okay, so here's what I usually do. Okay, I'll take a whole pound of butter. Now, this is the reason why I buy it in bulk and as cheaply as possible. It being $8-9 a pound right now is ridiculous. There are still some brands out there that are $4 or $5. This is a brand that I bought. They come in half sticks, so it's a little bit of unwrapping for me, but I'm going to do the entire 1 pound box. It's a Land O'Lakes. Right now they're $4.50 a pound. It's still expensive, but it's cheaper than the Great Value right now, which is weird. We're going to go ahead and unwrap all of this, and we're going to slowly melt this butter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 types of butters. We're going to do the lemon balm, but I'm not going to make the cookies on this episode because the butter actually needs to chill to the point to where we can actually make the cookies. So that's going to be in a later episode because I have a gluten-free, not diabetic friendly free, but gluten-free type of cookie recipe that I used to make all the time, which made me diabetic, so don't eat too many of these. But the first ones I'm going to do is going to be more of an Italian herb type butter. I'm going to cut up the onion, as well as use some garlic and basil, rosemary, and I do believe some parsley. You can do any type of butter combination or herb combination you want with butters, only because it's to your taste. You can just do regular garlic butter and you can can that. I have basil butter that I canned 2 years ago that I'm still using. You can do horseradish, you can do pepper. If you like hot butters, you can go ahead and do chipotle butter. Or you can go to these sweets like honey butter or honey cinnamon butter. The sky is the limit whenever it comes to creating your own ingredients. Now I do buy unsalted butter, only because I like to add salt to my food. So I don't want to add it to the butter that I use as my ingredient. Once this is starting to melt, we're going to start adding the fresh herbs, like the onion and the basil that we already have out to be able to add to this. Okay, we got some basil. This is sweet basil. We're going to chop it up and put it in there, stem and all. And the smaller pieces that you chop it up, the more of the herb that that's going to come out, because you want to kind of crush these leaves. In fact, you can go ahead and smush it while you're putting it into the butter. Okay, and here are the onion chives. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and use some already jarred up garlic for this. I'm not going to use the powder. So a good spoonful of that. Okay, a small handful of rosemary. If you've got fresh, use it. Okay, and a little bit of parsley. And you kind of want to let this simmer for quite a while. I would say about 30 minutes. We're going to get this up to medium. Let it all integrate. And then bring the temperature down to, I would say, a low medium. Okay, so not necessarily low, but not in between them either. So like a kind of like an eighth of a tank of gas. You want it that low, and then you're going to leave this for 30 minutes. Remember, you're not cooking the butter and the herbs. You just want them to the spices to marinate and to marry. Okay, now that is completely integrated, we're going to go ahead and strain this off. Solids, herbs, everything, and all we're going to do is reserve the liquid. Now with my basil butter, what I did is that I added so much basil, the butter actually turned green. And that can happen whenever you're dealing with herbs and butters. It'll change to the color of the herb that you're doing. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and finish straining. And we're going to put this in jars. Okay, so I usually use the 1/4 pints for my herb butters. I feel that I can handle this size in the refrigerator a little bit better. And if I was doing something huge, well, there's a measurement here. It's a quarter, this is a 1/2 cup. So no matter what I do, if I need a 1/2 cup of something, from the edge down is a 1/2 cup. Okay, and about a stick of butter is 1 jar. Now you can go ahead and just stick one of these in the refrigerator and use it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and PC these for, I am going to go ahead and pressure cook these for about 15 minutes. No more than that. Okay, because of the how small they are. But if you were doing pints, okay, it'd be 30 minutes. Quarts for 40 minutes. And if I was water bathing this, if I didn't have a pressure cooker, if I could only water bath this, this would be 60 minutes. And that's how you do herbed butter, okay? If you want to leave the herbs in there, you can. I tend to remove them because I'm also adding other things to other dishes. It's also, you can also spread this on your toast or whatnot and still have the herb taste. Now to do the lemon balm, it's the same process. You add butter, melt butter, let that simmer for 30 minutes, and then strain and jar up. And we're going to go ahead and get everything done all at once. I just need to label these because they're going to look similar. And there you have it. One way to start saving your harvest and having the taste of your garden all winter long. That way you don't have to worry about drying them, preserving them, and you can use these in multiple applications. Thank you for joining. You have a good day, and we'll see you next time.